Yes, hello and welcome to another Rust Locker video, and today it is raining as it has been all week, so there's not been a lot I can do out on the driveway working on cars. I just don't fancy it. I'm still ill a bit with a cold, and standing out in the rain is not something I want to do. So today I'm going to be working on something indoors, and that is to build myself a new heat shield for the exhaust that I fitted a couple of weeks ago. Now, if you can remember from that video, the heat shield above the back box on the MX5 was rusted to shit, so I've decided I'm going to make myself a new one out of a sheet of aluminium that I've got, and at least I'm going to attempt to make one. I'll have to see how it goes. I'm going to wing it, and hopefully we'll be able to make up a new one. So this is the heat shield that was on the car, and as you can see, it is pretty crusty. Bits are all just chipping off, so I'm going to take this and kind of make a replacement out of this aluminium sheet, which I got off of eBay for less than a tenner. I didn't see any point in trying to buy a replacement one of these, seeing as they seem to be made out of steel, and it would just rust again. So I think it's not going to be exactly the same, but I think I can fashion something out of this sheet here to do the job that this was doing. Now, to be honest, I don't think this was actually doing all that much, because I've been running the car for a couple of weeks now without no heat shield on the back at all. After a sort of a decent drive, I've been checking at the back, and it doesn't actually even seem to be making the area that this shields heat from hot. The hottest part of the exhaust seems to be the tip. So, to be honest, I think you could probably run without a heat shield. But to be on the safe side, I don't want to set light to anything inadvertently, so I'm going to make my own one anyway, and gives me a little project to work on while it's raining outside anyway. Okay, so because this has got quite a few sort of bends and folds in this metal, I don't think I'm going to be able to replicate this exactly. I will be able to sort of flare up the ends here, but I don't think I'm going to be able to stamp out a middle section like this. Also, the way that this fits up to the body of the MX5, it's got like these raised sort of knobbles. I don't think I'm going to be able to stamp that either, but I could probably make up a spacer out of some washers to sort of give it a bit of that gap there if need be. So what I'm going to do is, because it's sort of got lips on it here, I'm going to kind of work out, I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap at the end to account for this fold, and then I'm going to kind of roll it down, roll it up if it stays in one piece, and then mark there. And I think that once I cut that off and do some bends, it's going to be approximately the same size. Good thing about this is no one's going to see it, so it doesn't actually have to be perfectly accurate. So if I cut that off there, something like that, will be about the right sort of size, and then we can bend up the edges a little bit, drill the holes in the right place, and go from there.
Perfect.
And by the way, just in case you didn't know or you couldn't tell, I have almost zero metalworking experience. All I know is you can bend it and you can hit it. Okay, so it's not perfect or accurate in a lot of ways, but it does make it quite strong and rigid. I'm pretty happy with that, considering I've done it with minimal tools, hammer, a bit of wood, measuring things, and a desk. Yep, that'll work. It's a lot better than that rusty old piece of shit anyway. So I'm just going to carry on putting the other lip in there, drill a couple of holes there or there. I think there's supposed to be another hole, but it's completely rusted away from the old one, so I'll have to work out where that goes. But for a heat shield, I think that's going to work. Right, so it's a couple of days later and there's a little break in the rain, so I'm going to try and see if this heat shield that I've made is going to work. Managed to pick up this baby at Costco, so we can give this a little test run as well. Okay, so I'm under the car at the moment, and although it's a bit of a pain in the arse, I have managed to get one of the back bolts in to mount this heat shield. I managed to find some bolts that I'd robbed from the interior when I did the roll bar that weren't needed anymore, so I've got some clean rust-free bolts to go in that fit. So like I was saying, I needed to get a bolt in at the back there, but I really didn't want to take off the exhaust that I only fitted last week or the week before, so I managed to just about get that back one in. Trying to do the front bolt there, and I've noticed that I've made a bit of an error and made the heat shield a little bit too big to clear the exhaust rubber there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to snip away at this corner here to give it a bit more clearance. Right, so I got the two bolts in from the bolt holes that I drilled, although I had made a mistake and had to re-drill some holes. I'd actually drilled them from the other side round, so they were in the wrong place. But anyway, drilled some new holes, fitted some of these new bolts, or non-rusty bolts anyway. The only thing that I couldn't do was the other side. I couldn't find a bolt hole for the other side, so I took the easy way out and put in a self-tapping screw. So now that's all solid, doesn't vibrate. Without this screw in this side, it was going to be like clanging away when the engine was running, so definitely needed a screw in there. But other than that, I think we're good. Okay, so I had to jump in the van quickly because it's getting pretty noisy out there on the road and the wind's picking up. Looks like it's going to rain again. Unbelievable. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with what I've done here over the past couple of days. This has been the first time I've ever really had a go at fabricating anything out of metal. And I know it was only a simple little thing with some bends into some aluminium, but it works. It's all on tight and it's not going to rust. It looks shiny. Not that many people are going to see it underneath there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little project. If you've got an MX5, have a little look over your back box at your heat shield. If it's rusty as shit as mine was, then grab yourself a sheet of aluminium off of eBay, bend it up, put some holes in it, bolt it to the underside, and you'll never have a rusty heat shield again. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little kind of random project that I've been working on. If you have, leave a like on this video. If you've got any questions, then leave me a comment down below and subscribe if you're new, and I will catch you on the next one.
Perfect.